Hello, world, and we're back. This is Ryan, aka the Healing Chef, aka Crowns Corner. This is the Healing Chef's podcast. Healing Chef's podcast is all about natural remedies, mental health, stuff like that, talking to each other, making each other not feel so alone. Also sharing the cool shit in life that we love. Each person that I have on here, I believe is a chef. Chef comes from the word chief meaning leader. So like I said, everyone that I have on here, I believe is a leader in their own way. Today's chef is, ladies and gentlemen, of Fuego Family Farms, Earth Rhythm, and freelancing, helping out cookies with a couple killer strains. Ladies and gentlemen, Todd the farmer. Oh my God, the crowd goes crazy. Yeah! What's up, man?
How are you, my brother?
Finally, been working this out for a little bit. Big shout out to Dingles, the homie that introduced me to GP, Brett,
Mm-hmm.
and then Brett introduced me to you guys and all sorts of stuff. So shout out to you guys. Thank you very much for coming. That is also a very dope hoodie.
Yeah, Oteil, one of my favorite bass players.
Oh,
Yeah,
fuck yeah.
this
Hell
was
yeah.
from his last tour that came around. I just couldn't help myself. It's like
No,
it's in
that's
my
it.
color patterns and
Hell yeah,
works
that's
well.
sick.
You know.
Sick. So if you could go ahead and for those that maybe aren't as weed centric as some of us, educate a little bit of people about yourself, and what it is that you do.
Yeah, my name is Todd. My friends call me Todd and I've been, on my own journey with the cannabis plant my whole adult life, plus some. You know, um, and that really kind of shaped my journey a lot. The love of the plant. Back in my era, it was a dangerous thing to do. It was not the time it is now, where we can go into stores and go and get flower and weed. Everyone was pretty much an activist or a revolutionary when I was young with cannabis. It was a dangerous thing to get into and could get you in trouble, you know?
Yeah, for sure. That's something that I've been talking about recently, and we'll jump into more of that with the
Yeah,
cannabis.
but
But so you're growing,
for
and
me,
we'll get
like,
into the how it all happened. But
yeah, for me, like, everything goes back to when I was young, and like, I'm a Deadhead, so I found the Grateful Dead, and the Grateful Dead was a wealth of resources for like blowing the doors off your own head and checking your existence with the rest of humanity, and definitely cannabis and psychedelics were a part of that, from an early age in my existence, and really shaped and formed a lot of the science and the cultural things that I was interested in, like really gravitated to natural plant medicines and that kind of shamanic experience that
Hmm.
a lot of us are either searching for, have, or curious about these days.
Absolutely. Yeah. I tell people that I grew up with my grandpa taking me to powwows and stuff on weekends and stuff like
Yeah.
that. That's where I really got my passion for like to be a shaman, and I want to eventually. I'm working on things, but it's a path. But
Props to my dad. He was he's still with us, but he retired. He was a you know doctor of theology, Christian minister, and knowing that my brother and I were going to grow up with that our whole lives, he like it was like the 70s and 80s, took us to all the elders and the tribes and artists
so
and healers. And I was a kid watching sun dances, one of the only white folk around. It's like, so I
yeah,
was a
yeah.
really different
I've been
version.
there.
My dad, I think, was like, well, you're going to get indoctrinated with Christianity your whole life, so I'm going to make sure you have this other way from the place where we live and
Nice.
help you figure out your own route, which was super crucial to my journey.
Hell yeah. So if you guys don't know, this is Earth Rhythms little
Yeah.
beanie brand, little logo here. So
Yeah.
you're a grower for Fuego, Family Farms, and then Earth Rhythm and the cookies. But let's go ahead and jump into the first segment, which is cannabis journey, and we'll talk about your
Yeah.
personal journey and how it got. I'll edit it up. Cannabis journey is all about how you found cannabis yourself, and then where you're with it now. Like I am 40. Yeah, I'm 40.
Yeah. Is that a question? I am 40.
I am Ron Burgundy.
Yeah.
I yeah, so I've been around since brickweed seeds and stems, big
Yeah.
tray, lean it up just so the seeds
Yeah.
roll out and you don't have to pick through it all. Um
I remember that too.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
grew
could you
up
enlighten us about maybe your journey?
yeah, I grew up when my cannabis journey first started, I was like, I was younger than most. I was in my teens and at that point, my family jumped around a lot when I was young, but we kind of settled when my junior high to high school years in Long Beach, California, down in the
Hmm.
big urban. And that was where cannabis and I first got connected. I was in like what end of junior high, beginning of high school. A lot of people smoked cannabis in Long Beach back then, and it was a port town, so we didn't just get the brickweed with the stems and the seeds,
Mm,
but like we get really nice, fancy, weird imported shit like the Thai sticks and the
man,
opiated like chocolate Thai sticks and
damn.
strange stuff would come through, and then you get like the actual Oaxacan sexy mexy stuff and brickweed and
Yeah.
very little kind bud down in Long Beach when I was growing up, but it existed. We
Yeah.
called it the kind bud, and
Yeah, dog, I
very
remember.
expensive. And you get little tiny little eights that were very small, and you'd
Yeah.
go, "That's it." And I'm used to getting this big brick and like playing with my card and my seeds and stems about it.
Yeah, we were
But
taking knife hits of that stuff.
yes,
Early
well,
dabs.
like I was saying, Grateful Dead was formative to me when I was young, and I'm a musician, so I'm like always playing music and going and seeing music and events, and cannabis was always there. And so once I was old enough and you know not around my parents all the time, I tried it.
Mm,
First time I was with one of my best friends, and we got some of that brickweed and we separated it all out because we learned how to do that from folks and
yeah.
rolled horrible joints. And we decided the best thing to do is to watch the Arlo Guthrie movie Alice's Restaurant, which is kind of a long, slow trippers movie made by trippers and stoners, but like it doesn't translate that well into a cohesive story when it's the first time you're getting stoned. Like we're like, are we
Okay.
stoned? Do I feel it yet? And then let's roll another one and smoke another one. And that movie lasted like 12 hours. It was like an eternity.
Damn.
I'm trying to watch that because I reached this really psychedelic, giddy space. And I was like, whoa, I didn't even notice I've been transported through time. And I liked that. Like, I
Oh
liked
yeah.
to sci-fi growing up and all that stuff. I thought we were going to be flying space cars and like the Jetsons by now and all that,
We probably do. They just don't.
They
They're just
do
not
now.
telling us.
Yeah. I don't have one yet. Yeah.
Well, I don't have one either.
Yeah.
But
But the cannabis started there, and then I realized really quickly how much I loved it, how much it really made me comfortable in myself, made me all those social parameters I would worry about in my own head about like, oh, what's that person thinking about me and what's the difference between me and them was
mm,
gone for me. I was just really in a calmer place in my heart space and in my mind because of the cannabis and the head change, and the whole spiritual experience of it. Because at that time, I wasn't just Grateful Dead. I was into like I got formative with reggae. I've been a reggae musician for most of my adult life,
hell yeah.
and I started realizing real fast that I can't just keep buying this stuff because like I like to share it too much, and I want everyone to try it. And so
Yeah.
here I'm like, here, try this with me. And like, so I was the guy that like all the other kids' parents like, oh, you can't hang out with him for a while. Oh, he does that weed thing, and no.
It
And
does the weed thing.
I really had to quickly translate from how am I going to be just having this around and sharing it with people to I got to be able to like make this. And so I did start learning how do I be a grower because I was like also very interested in like how do I relive the Grateful Dead experience that happened in the '60s. So I read my On the Road and my Jack Kerouacs and all my things and like
Oh,
figured out how to hitchhike and do all those things because on the very edge of the end of that whole Grateful Dead era, and
yeah. I
which
mean,
goes
you
on,
do
you know.
that. I mean, it's the proliferation of LSD through the Grateful Dead alone
Yeah,
is. I mean, there's just so many stories with that.
there's so much to learn there. Like the people involved there, I think we should really honor as like some of the like our forefathers and foremothers, and really activists in like breaking down the human element and the psychology that we all need to break through to get to our true selves and be authentic and get out there and do it. Like, I think LSD does that really well for people.
Absolutely. It helped me recently, and we'll talk about that. But
Housley's
yeah.
one of my favorite people, Bear, who
Mm,
did a lot of the sound and studio and allegedly a lot of the LSD work back then with a lot of other people too. Like, I go
crazy.
deep and study that stuff because it's like in my bones and in my like fabric of
With Ram
vibration,
Dass and all them, and
all that stuff. Yeah, like I've read a lot, I've studied a lot, I've gone inward and outward a lot, and I really think I have cannabis to thank for that. It like was the first thing. I wouldn't call it like a gateway drug, but it opened my mind to there's different realms of consciousness we have access to
mm,
if we get ourselves out of the way. Like
true.
really just be. You get this different way of operating. Which I think I'm thankful to have found at an early age and really caught on to what those old hippies were doing. I was like, dude, this is good. Be a good family, go about your business. There's going to be hardships and challenges. You're going to make it through. You're going to make it to the next show, and you're going to get in. That's a lot of manifestation, like just
Yeah.
go from place to place
Yeah,
because
it's not a
you want to vibrate with those people. They're also going from place to place, and you can end up anywhere and have family. That's what I learned. Like the tribal existence is real with me.
yeah,
So the
no, that's
cannabis
deep,
thing,
dog. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
from smoking to producing, it was really fast for me. Like by the time I was out of my parents' house, I was trying to figure out how to grow in the college closets, and then like this was like real activism, cannabis time. So like I was a glass blower back then in the era. I was trying all kinds of arts and
Oh,
things like
man.
that too. So like I was,
Renaissance
blowing
man.
glass, and yeah, I was doing that. I think everyone should. It's a good idea.
Yeah. Oh, I'd try to do
Found Jeff Jones and all
yeah.
the Oakland people and all the people that were like formative in like creating safe access, creating free programs to get cannabis to people that actually need it, opening up educational places and dispensaries. So I'd like blow glass pipes, make sure they were there, and be like, because people didn't know about glass pipes very much back then. Like, this is cleaner. All you have all these cancer patients. Here, have some cheap, really nice hand blown glass pipes that they can smoke out of instead of all these metal pipes and coke
Mm.
and things people were doing. Gravity bongs out of plastic.
Oh my god, the Coke cans have a plastic liner in the inside of them.
Yeah, all that stuff that we're
Oh,
learning. Oh, we don't want microplastics in our brain and this and that. For
all
me,
sorts.
I was, we weren't thinking those thoughts back then. We're
Not at all. Yeah.
pioneers of our own minds and the things we chose to do. You know, I think about my dad's, our parents' era. Like you used to be able to get science kits with like radioactive plutonium in them and all these chemicals that can burn your eyes out, and they just send them to you in the mail to your kids. And here, Merry Christmas. Learn some chemistry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, nowadays they'd get sued for that.
But yeah, I studied deep science when I was in college, and I just took a really wholehearted turn into myself and changing and translating all that from like the marine biology and physics and hard sciences and arts that I was studying. I was like, no, it's all about plants. It just shifted in me once I was like exploring myself more. Started growing cannabis, got the relationship with the plant, which I think is something that anyone that grows plants, whether you're a food farmer or anything farmer, like you get the relationship going where you realize like it's symbiotic.
Mm.
You're a steward of this thing, but it's a steward of you too. If you listen carefully enough, it's got all the answers for you. Of like,
Universe speaks, yeah.
so what am I doing here? How do I do this? Whether it's a carrot or a cannabis plant, like I went to the nines on myself to learn that when I was young, and even now, like my whole life, I've been trying to be a better farmer, and figure that out because I think it's one of the most important skill sets out there. We've forgotten where our
Mm.
food comes from. We've forgotten about medicines and plants, and as I've gone through my journey, I have a deep connection with like the big island in Hawaii, and a lot of the culture, the people, the plants, and the way of life out there is incredible. I've just been like dunked into the bath of that with some of what we'd call like ancient allies, like the plants that have been around forever.
Mhm.
But like all the elders and the shamanic kind of people I found and the people that are healers out there, there's so many plants and biodiversity out there that you can focus on or you can find just naturally in the wild.
Mhm.
But there were people that came there a long time ago, like on this vision in the canoe, and like And I believe that they were carrying gourds with plants in them. There's some of these most sacred healing plants, and that they probably carried with them everywhere on journeys from boat to place, long time ago. Like there's a lot of them over there that I've been studying and learning about from some elders and some really cool people. Like I met these really interesting folks that really want to take plant medicine to the next nines, and I was like, well, that's what I've been doing cannabis for a long time, and food farming before that.
Mm.
But the reality was that, like, they were showing me something that had been around to where, like, I had this instant connection with these people that were like their plant people. Myself, I had this old mystic man ask me, like, how do you know you're a plant person? I told him, like, well, I listen, and the plant speaks to me, and I listen,
Yeah.
and I do
Yeah.
what it asks, and it listens to me too, and it's a relationship. And this old man told me, he's like, well, how far does that relationship go? And I was like, it's here, it's in my heart. And I listen with my heart, mind, and my mind, and I do my work, and I learn by doing these processes over and over and over again. Like, in the plant goes, it might be easier for us if you did it like this. And then I think I thought it up, but I don't think I did. You know, those
Yeah.
things just come from the universe, like you're saying. And so I
Yeah.
realized,
Mm.
talking to this old man, because he was talking about all his plant sciences, allegedly can cure lots of things and help us all a lot, and how he tried it many times, millions of dollars in big companies, and then there's nothing, and then try it again. It just never stabilizes into reality because people don't really believe in plant medicines anymore.
Well, I mean, you have the society that's built up around all the fake medicine and all the other stuff that are treating symptoms instead of the problems because it's a money thing.
Yeah, but I really
So,
believe, many generations ago, we were a little more connected to the earth, and like
oh, for
people
sure.
took care of their own land, and had herbs and foods and things. And some people, when they wanted to travel and move, because we're a nomadic species on this planet, they take those things with them, the very sacred ones, whether that be psychedelic or just healing, in general. And I
Mm.
believe, like, some of those things that I've seen with my friends in Hawaii, we all know that they came there. They weren't born there. They aren't native to Hawaii, but like these things pop up, like certain fiddle ferns, and like the noni, and these different plants, mamaki. There's these things that you put them together in a protocol. They really do help all of your systems work to a more optimal level and deal with all the issues that one could have.
Yeah, doesn't it make more sense to like plug and play with the things that were built around us that instead of things that we're trying to build
Yeah.
ourselves through alchemy? I mean,
Yes. That's where on my journey, alchemy caught on to that. Like, that thing is important to me. Manifestation and alchemy are a real basis
mhm,
in my life. I've used them both in my artwork and in my strategies of business and such.
mhm,
But you want to talk about the cultivation of cannabis story. Like, it really started in that needing to provide for more than myself. Just like
mhm,
in my cannabis journey when I was young, like, I spent a lot of time trying to learn from elders. I went up north. I didn't spend all my time in Santa Cruz. Like, I spent a lot of time up in Mendocino and Humboldt and back and forth, and doing a lot of work infrastructure wise, learning from old Vietnam vets and clampers and mountain folks, and ending up
mm.
in really interesting properties. Because I wanted to learn the old ways. I like the hard old ways that people used to do it. I think they have a lot more to teach us
Quality. I
than
think
the
quality of
convenient
things.
culture. So, like, there's just some beautiful places up north with beautiful people for generations that have farmed cannabis to the threat of their own existence, their family, their livelihood, because they believe in the worthiness of it, the value
Mhm,
beyond money. Like, used to be worth a lot of money. The value's changed,
yeah.
but the value is more important than ever that we have plant medicines we can rely on, I believe, versus these go-to convenience things that we're filling in our culture that aren't really helpful. They're just masking symptoms or feelings, and we're going with the trends. But there's these things that have been here, like I said, ancient allies forever to help
Mm.
you know and as long
How do you relate that to some of the like the stuff that you guys do in your strains and stuff, and then have trying to produce them like almost you guys don't really mass produce, but you're
no,
producing stuff that's larger.
we have a pretty large scope for how small we are. I've realized, Ryan, like, we really have been nosing the dirt with my friends and family and the people that taught me, like we're talking about hundreds of years of knowledge of botany,
Mm,
when you
mhm,
add up our individual years together. And the learning curve that I've learned from my elders and mentors to that I pass on to the people that I'm growing with and continue to teach to be growers. Because like one of the things is we realized we can't just run our process. We need to find the right kind-hearted people to grow, because it's not, the recipe requires love,
mm.
and not just, we need spreadsheets and data and all these things and mathing, but like if you don't have the love and intention in it, like it doesn't hit right, like in your bowl or in your joint. Like, and I've had so many people tell me, even more and more so now than ever, as like we get to know more and more people around the world and in our communities and beyond, people find us and go, "You make real plant medicine, and it really affects me differently in a great way." And it's like, "You ruined me." Someone would say, "You ruined me. I can't go back." And I'm like, "What's the difference?" I'm like, "Well, we actually do put love into it, and hand care, hand watered, hand processes. We're not trying to get to a bigger thing that can make X. And
That's
so,
how I feel with my cooking and this thing. Dope, bro.
yeah.
Hell yeah, keep going.
And so back in the day, like when I went and translated, like I used to be a food farmer. Earth Rhythm was originally a food farm that I started with my family as a small project with 5 acres of old heritage land I found and just ended up on. And this farmer was farming all around my little tiny shack I was living in, and 5 acres of it, and making really nice vegetables, sending him to a really nice shamanad restaurant here. He had a great shtick, and then he wanted to leave. And I was like,
Mm,
well, he's like, this is gonna suck for you because you live in the middle of the farm unless you figure out who could be the farmer. And I was like, working my roofing job and doing all my other things, and going, who could be the farmer every day? And like, eventually one day I was like, oh, I'm the farmer.
yeah, hell yeah.
I had an accident, fell down, shattered my heel, had to learn to walk again, had to be like
Uh,
not weight bearing for like most of a year, and really went deep and studied how can I use this land and be a farmer and make for it more than myself.
mm.
And I grew like 88 different heirloom vegetables in a greenhouse and rotated like by hand, like with a
That's a dream
rototiller.
for me to be able to work with. I would love to cook with that
It
stuff.
was a very challenging and important lesson for me and my family. It was, and
Damn.
everyone around me. It was like, I didn't want to do it just to like make my little garden for me. I wanted to actually, I had a little bike CSA, biked food around in my neighborhood and make contact with people. This is where your food comes from. If I had a farm stand where people could come onto the old world land, make a connection with the land. So I think that heals people, brother. Like to just have contact.
So you're blowing my mind like the universe speaks, right? So
Yeah,
one of my goals and like one of my dreams is actually having a little farm and then
yeah,
having some place that I can ride my bike to
yeah,
go and like do cook brunch or whatever and basically pick up all local stuff
yeah,
on my way, grab the stuff, go cook it for everybody, enjoy it, be entertainer there. You know what I mean? Like have
yeah.
that little small community. I don't ever like I don't ever want to get too big or anything like that. I just want to do the like what we're talking about, man, because I don't know. That sounds
Those were
amazing.
those were some of the healthiest years of my life. We didn't make shit for money. I had to go grow weed and trim weed, do all these things to pay for the farm. You know,
Sometimes, yeah. It's
but
like
it was worth it because I learned
mm,
how to really like take care of food, steward land, be in the now and work with it, like in the flow, and not be concerned about the value, knowing that the value is there. I just had to find the right people to connect with. You know,
yeah, it comes.
the
Yeah.
huge thing is like I've always been blessed to run into this great property at the end of the road, or these people that have these wealth of knowledge and resources, and I've just been willing to go, hey, I really like what you're doing and how you're doing it. I want to know why and how you're doing that. I've been a very curious child my whole life, still very childlike, sometimes not childish.
Yeah,
Um,
I can relate.
we went from like those mountaintops when I was young and in my youth, you know, to like really focusing on like food farming and pot farming at the same time, helping out and learning like you need a team to do that of people that really are lovers of the plant, and you need to have that trust thing that I learned from the Grateful Dead of be good family and don't say shit, that you shouldn't
Mm,
say out there in public, and keep yourself like guided guarded, protected, mystic, and moving,
Yeah.
So
Hell yeah.
long time ago, I found my partner Kelly, who's like Father Fuego. He's one of my best homies on the planet. He's done a lot for all of us to just create the place for us to perform. If I were a rock star, Kelly really made sure there was a stage for us to be on to really do what we could do and maximize potential of plant science and botany and underground, and then bring it to the foreground with that whole wreck thing that happened in 2018. So at that
Yeah.
time, Fuego was a medical group of a lot of really the best growers in Santa Cruz, all of our Appalachia, that we'd all been hunted from the mountaintops and our light depth greenhouses to
Fuego makes sense then.
indoor little rooms, that we're trying to maximize potential and hide, and just not lose our genetics and keep doing our good plant work, because we've always been breeding or being offered up and given the best genetics around, because what our crew does is really maximize the potential of the plant and work with the plant, not for I need to get this done in 8 weeks or I need it to come in like this and at this price point. Is all about, let's see what we can do with her.
Hell yeah. That's the way it should be. Yeah. I
And
love
that translated really well to a lot of great cannabis work for a very long time, and a lot of notoriety, because no one could find it or get it unless you knew us,
it. Yeah.
unless you're in our medical collective, and because I've always been really wanting to make sure that there's safe access to quality things for the people that need them, and I don't
Yeah.
think we all have gotten that opportunity. I don't think
No.
we do. Growing up in Long Beach, I saw such a diversity of people and have not, and way to represent that, in culture and stuff. So the cannabis thing, really from that point on, I dropped the food farming and it was just strictly cannabis. I was really focused on it. I was like, okay, I learned all this stuff with food and how to share and how to rotate so that I can really put my stamp on this cannabis thing and really do it well to the size to do it. And that's how we ended up with, two different companies here that I work with. The Earth Rhythm that Jacob and I started, we were nuts and brilliant at the same time. We licensed 212 lighters into the California system to prove a point. We didn't take any investor money. We put a 5,000 square foot license on it so we could grow and grow and grow if
Yeah.
it worked, but
Yeah.
we only accepted what we could do with our own hands, the own money that we could pull together, and whatever we had, to do it ourselves, because we
Yeah.
wanted to prove a point that you can make a good thing even in the shit show licensure and lawmaking that California has become. That a quality thing stands for itself, and if there's love in it, love's gonna win. I believe that. And
Oh,
we've had
absolutely.
a hard road of doing that, but we still exist, and we're still, you know, profitable to a certain degree. It doesn't really profit us, but it exists. It pays for itself and makes something, and we're putting out great medicine for people that they can safely access. And that's where the difference is. People are like, well, I don't understand this Fuego to Earth Rhythm thing. Earth Rhythm's a laboratory where we could have been producing, and we have to produce to make some money, but we really had chosen to sacrifice a profitable spreadsheet based company to just do quality inputs and make quality outputs. We're going to make a good thing. We're going to make it with our hands. It is the definition of craft and batch that everyone throws around, but we were really focused on it needs to be a small room. We can't get overwhelmed. We need to do it ourselves. Meanwhile,
Absolutely.
Fuego
That's dope.
already existed and was producing and also navigating the medical to recreational licensing, and that was super difficult and challenging for a lot of us in Santa Cruz, because this place didn't really set up the easiest routes versus some other counties and things. And it was very much that time. No one knew what was going to happen. They just let us all throw money down and or place in line. And we all did that to a certain degree, and we ended up with friends that had a great, brilliant, old school building from the olden days that Fuego exists in now, and that one was just a couple small rooms too, but we've got that room fleshed out, and built out through pain and suffering and COVID times and supply chain issues. Like we
Mm.
have, close to 100 lights of like really quality production space that we don't really do a lot of the research because Earth Rhythm's been spending years doing the research and pheno hunting as fast as we can figure out how to do, from seed to sexing to trial to viability to get it back to breeding and also get to production. Is there a winner?
Yeah. I've seen some of the stuff, man, and the shit is amazing. Like the cinnamon rolls to like, I mean, there was crazy stuff.
A lot of the things we have, like, are gifts from friends or family or people that just figured out what we do and who we are and just like, hey, this is great. Will you try mine and reach its full expression with what I created? And
Ooh,
I'm always
blueberry
interested to
banana.
find that alchemy where someone else's, life's work or journey and creativity and efforts and stuff gets matched to like our willingness to also do our part, and that's taken us on some incredible journeys, both with Fuego and with Earth Rhythm, where people have given us their libraries. Like Rob, like shared his library with us when he had to transition from having a cultivation spot to not. We did our best to preserve our brother's life's work, and we have, and help translate that. Not for money, for the fact that it's his life's work. It's worth
Well, I mean,
priceless.
that's part of being a chef, man. I love it when I can get someone who's like, as a farmer like yourself, or a baker who's been doing it their whole life, and they give
Yeah,
you their whole life like as a loaf of bread or something, and then you create on top of that. I mean, there's just so many layers and such deepness in connection. I feel like I get
yes,
goosebumps kind of talking about it because that's the shit that I love. It's like, okay, match your passion with my passion, and now we got double passion, and you know what I mean? Like it's
I
amazing.
do. I
I
feel
totally know what you're
really
talking.
honored to be on this journey with this plant at this time, because it's shifting so dramatically. Uh,
Mm,
all of it, plant medicine in general, shifting. Like I was like a hustler and a young kid doing all those things, to get to the next show, to get to the next adventure, you know, to enjoy my time, but to live well and like walk good with the earth and
mm,
live in my truth, which really is that, like, plant medicine is real. Like whether it be your broccoli that you're eating, that's plant medicine. It's
yeah.
affecting you in a way that's healing if you take it in, and all those other things too. But cannabis is the one for me that, like, I had a connection cord deep to my soul where I was like, I just knew this is what I got to do. This is what I'm here for, is doing this, and then that found me in all these other places, and entertainment, and music, and food, and all this different culture stuff. Because I mean, the cannabis plant, like, I've been doing it in my time, my whole adult life, but like, I don't know, ever since books were born, people have been fucking with cannabis.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. I mean,
it's in our deep DNA and culture and history that, like, you use plants, you know. And we found these plants. Like, you go look in any old book, you talk about all these plants. Some of them are like our interesting cannabis plant. Some of them are probably a lot of other different plants that I've found and other people have turned me on to.
oh
There's a
yeah.
lot of good shit there. And I'm really thankful that, Fuego existed in those days when, like, all the bikers gave us every OG. Like, we had them
Huh,
all for a long time. Like,
nice.
like the other OGs that didn't come from bikers, all those people love to give us those OGs too. Why don't we have them anymore? We were all chasing something else later. Everyone said, "Oh, this purple thing," and "Oh, the potency thing," and this
Yeah.
terpene. Like, and so being, cosmonauts of research, and development, like, we're like, okay, well, you never have room for all these things, so you move on. You know.
Yeah. And then there's rosin, and then there's purple rosin.
Yeah, that one was weird when Robbie and the team were all
Shout out
talking.
Native Selections, Rob.
I love Robbie.
Love. Shout out Rob.
Our soul brother, like, really has done one for the planet. Like, he's one of the kindest human beings I know, and like his research with the plant is so deep. Like, he has found so many winner things that are like, like, I'm a plant farmer, like he's a crystal farmer. He knows hash. He knows how to get to those states. And he's taught me. I thought I knew a lot, but man, does that man know it. And
That's
just,
so crazy. Yeah, man. I'm gonna
yeah,
have to like make my way to like Santa Cruz and like cook for you guys or something.
please
And
do.
Just
We
let you
like to
guys
fuck with
blow my
the
fucking
chefing
mind.
too. Yeah.
Say again?
We like to fuck with all the chefing too. That's where Burner and us hit a real big chord. Was like, we all like to
Mm.
cook food, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
and
Yeah,
digest with
man.
ganja, you know.
Yeah, big shout out to Burner there. You then just won that thing with the TRP and stuff, so that's cool. Glad
I'm
some
really
things.
glad that everything moves and changes. You know, we've been
Yeah.
rocking our part of the cookies thing for a long time. Earth Rhythm did a lot of focused, dedicated pheno hunting and sharing of genetics and helping like connect the dots on how Rob's genetics could work with
Mm.
cookies and make good hash
Oh,
translate. You know?
oh yeah, you guys are wizards.
And then pheno hunted a lot of other people's gear, our gear, and sat in the dynamics of like burner and the cookies thing to
Mhm.
really go. How can we get these good things out to the market quickly and get it done well together? Because we tried packaging all our own goods like Fuego and Earth Rhythm, and it was really difficult. You know, it didn't
Mhm.
translate as well. We thought and know that like a good thing and people try it, it'll be good. But there were so many things to try when we hit the market, you know, with our branding and the rec market, that it was difficult, you know, to translate and to get heard with all that noise around and get seen or smelled or tasted, you know, that was difficult, you know. And that's where, like, as we saw Rob having a hard time with keeping his farm and we're counseling
Mhm.
him, watching that, you know, we are like, well, Berner has the megaphone to cannabis around the world, and he has a giant company that's just set up to work with people that want to work together to do that. So we,
Mhm.
you know, eventually, like our friend Brett from Growing Passion, like we were,
Shout out, Brett. What's up, dog?
yeah, I love that guy. Like we feed hunted a lot of stuff for him, and then he kept, you know, unbeknownst to me and Jacob for a while, like, hey Bernard, look at all this stuff. These guys do good work, and they don't like go sell it to anyone else or give it to anyone else. They hold it safe. They bring it back. We do more research. We move on if there's nothing good, and like here's the plant, here's the work, and we'll rock it with you if it's viable, and if it's not, let's move on and find the next thing. You know,
Hell yeah.
the point where Burner came, wanted to come and meet us, come to the shop and just check it out, and he started doing a lot of video work back then. It was before he was making movies, you know. And then like we just hit such a great chord trying, and like he came to see us at Earth Rhythm and figure out what Earth Rhythm and Fuego Family Farms was all about, and we just wanted to say, you really need to talk to Rob. You know,
Mm.
Rob's got this great hash lineup that needs to translate, and you don't got one. You know, and I think
True, like a
he
mother.
was really taken back by the humanity of all of us and realizing like we weren't looking at him as the head of the cookies or the hip hopper or the creative artist that he is. Like we were just stoked the human was there and was
Fuck
wanted to
yeah,
hang
man.
out for a minute, you know. And that
Love
turned
that.
into just really good conversations over food and come up to the creative
Yeah, they
compound.
even have the video of you guys cooking and smoking
We've
together.
done a lot of that over the years, trying to flesh out
Love it.
how does cannabis translate right now? Where does
Mm.
value meet finance and the good vibes and something quality, you know? So
Oh yeah.
that's how we ended up really in the middle of some great cookies stuff in California and beyond, was just like willing to be doing the research, willing to share it and come up with, is there viability here? And then we fell into the role of like, well, let's get it into marketing cookies.
Yeah.
And it was so different what we were doing, and they didn't know what to do with us. We're an anomaly. So we ended up carving out our own kind of lane, the micro batch R&D they started calling it, which was mostly just earth rhythm weed and
Mm.
some surge weed and things from cookies groups where they do their own R&D and do their own in-house genetics and growing. But it was really like we all came up with a creative way to try an experiment of getting the smallest thing into the biggest cannabis company and
Mm.
out to market quickly and fresh and right.
Yeah. That's
Super impossible,
yeah.
really, when you
Like
look at it. But we've done a
especially
fantastic
hash,
job.
bro. Fuck. That's like you're
The
taking
hash
on the
thing, that's
biggest
something
demon.
totally different. That was a lot of trust and Rob's decisions of like how to
Mm.
translate his life's work and his library, and us just being willing to help him. Like, okay, you guys have a greenhouse up in Humboldt. You
Mm.
could do this. You just have to not. You have to be willing to take the challenge and the risk and walk through the door and not grow for that flower that you've always done and
Mm.
grow for crystals. and
Damn.
freeze it, and then get a little bit off of that, and then squish it and get a little bit off of that, and keep reducing down to your like nutraceutical plant medicine,
You're making
the
demi-glace.
rosin. Yeah. And so we help, really like with our own time and effort, just like we're not paid employees. We don't have contracts with cookies.
Yeah.
We were trying to see if it can translate. How does this work survive and get into the hands of more people that need it? Yeah. And
Oh,
that
yeah.
took like, not reinventing the wheel, but going, hey, you're not growing for this. Here's check out our parameters and do this and do that and just modify a little bit, adapt and modify. And now you're crystal farmers. And that's been working, I think, pretty well. Like we're all so busy. We don't get to spend a lot of time together.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Burner in a long time. I've been busy. He's been busy. We all are doing the work.
Yeah.
And
I
all
mean,
trying to live our lives and be in a joyful place to be creative and continue to do what the universe is asking of us to show up,
hell
get in the
yeah.
flow, and do shit. I
Yeah.
learned,
That's
I tell my
crazy.
friends, hey, guess what? I learned that if you do shit, you get shit done.
What?
And then you can do some more shit. And so that's where like we've learned our process.
I'd be doing this shit to myself.
We can pheno hunt pretty quickly now. We can make production lines pretty quickly now and decide. And we're kind of experts in our field now. We stuck around long enough with ourselves and with other people that like, and we can bring them to people that are no more or older than us. Go, is this good? I'm stuck in my own little bubble and my own little perspective, but
I
I
feel
think
that.
this is really good. Tell me if this is good or not. And like, I'm constantly amazed, like how many friends and family around the world from all walks of life really do commend us on doing something different, which is the love part, putting the love in, makes all the
That's the
difference.
difference. People know, and people can tell no matter what you do.
But my
Um,
job now is to like reclaim that value place to that, because like now, like every cost of every good went up, but cannabis went down. And like, how is that possible? We're
yeah,
paying more for everything, and that has to translate differently in the future, really has to.
yeah.
And I'm
That
not
makes
saying
a lot
for
of sense.
me and my pocketbook or my company, but that would help. But it's like for the love of the plant, for the love of continuing the experiment of having these relationships with other kingdoms and phyla of our fellow living library
Mhm.
constituents of planet Earth. I mean, we're living on a living library that we haven't found another one in any galaxy or universe yet to match it that has this biodiversity.
Arizona would be blessed to have you come visit or drop some of your
That's where I
genetics.
spent. I grew up in the foothills of Tucson, running around in the desert.
Tucson, mate. I have a lot of people
Yeah.
starting building more connections in Tucson.
We've tried a few times to connect with some good folks out there and translate some earth rhythm and some things out there. We've definitely been working and aligning with lots of people everywhere on how do you do what you
hmm.
do, let go enough that you don't have to do it yourself. How do we share the recipe, right, and make sure we
Hmm.
make that good loaf of bread the same, wherever
Well,
we are.
if you ever
Yeah.
want to tap in, I'm the TMZ of THC and AZ.
Nice.
Um,
That's good. Yeah, we're
yeah.
looking at the other states. We look at other
Mm.
countries. It's a global situation now where, like, I'd
Yeah.
like to see American cannabis not get left behind just because we question
Especially
our
Cali.
ethics,
It's
morals,
like
or things, our financial situation.
Napa Valley, Canna Valley, like like all
There's a
of
lot
them.
of good things going on. They just need to give us back, like, it'd be nice to follow the wine model. It'd be nice
Yeah,
to be able to, sell our goods to people by ourselves and have, like, wine club thing, weed club, be good.
Weed Club.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
coming, it's happening. It
yeah,
just should have been there a long time ago.
true.
But
And then you get to like not only you put the love into it, you get to sell the experiences.
the work is real. Like Earth Rhythm can pheno hunt quickly and chooses to. It's not just about production. Like we don't pheno hunt specifically for cookies. We pheno hunt for the plant. Work with a lot of people's genetics. We've had a lot of breeders and farmers give us stuff.
Huh.
Try this, or we go buy things because we want to. We support the industry and the culture in our own way.
You are
But
the culture.
yeah, so
Yeah, bro.
you
Yeah.
know,
That's why. Yeah.
give thanks for that. Like we really know we're younger in this big thing that's been going on forever. We accept the role and the challenge to do stuff.
And that's
Get
what
shit
comes
done. You know,
with great people and great artists and stuff like
really
that, is
stoked
knowing
about
that you can
all the
know
new strain.
all. Yeah, you can know so much, but you don't know shit. Like, like,
Yeah, that's why we keep trying. There's something new to be found, that like the ability for the cannabis plant to adapt and to change and grow with us is incredible. Like the weed's different from when you and I were young. We're
yeah.
going different places with it. Um, the ability for everyone to get educated and learn the different ways of consumption and usage for your different ailments is getting mind blowing to me. You
Oh yeah.
know?
And we're getting kind of close on time, so
Oh
we're
yeah.
gonna. No, we're good. We usually do like a 4 segment thing, but
Oh,
like I wanted to do this. No, you hear is good. Like this is your cannabis mainly, and I wanted to maybe in the future get you on and talk about some psychedelics and stuff like that.
yeah,
But I didn't want to stop this story because I mean it should be told, and I really wanted to hear all about the whole thing. I didn't want to have to cut you off. So,
yeah,
dope. But we're gonna go ahead and jump into like plug talk real quick, do a little promo and stuff like that, little
yes.
outro. But yeah, we'll keep talking and stuff like that. And
As
I'm
long as you got
trying.
time, I got a little more time. If you want more things to edit through, we can for sure.
Yeah, I don't
You
have.
got time.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah,
Cool.
on my
Half past a
right
beat
past the
here. Dude.
freckle.
Yeah.
Oh shit, yeah. Yeah, we could. Yeah. Believe me, we'll have. There's more days than life left. But but I also I want to make it out there and cook for you guys too.
Please do.
Especially because I've been talking. I told Brett I was going to cook for him a long time ago, and I
I
keep
bet
trying to make these trips, but life keeps lifing.
it
But
will.
but we'll do it. But yeah, let's jump into plug talk real quick, and then. All right. And so Plug Talk's all about, promo, shout outs. And I just want to thank you again for coming. But yeah, go ahead. This is your time. If you want to shout out whoever you want to shout out or.
Well, first and foremost, I would like to thank Jah Rastafari for always being on my side and always having my back and keeping me on this journey and staying true with it. Like I'm a silly white boy, you know. I definitely am. Come from a lot of spiritual culture, and like Rastafari is real for me as part of my cannabis journey. So I thank Jah for letting me do these works every day and bring the ganja to the people. It's important,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
important works, and there's a lot of us doing it, and I know it will continue. So I thank him. I thank my family and my kids the most because they keep me knowing, learning, and creatively pushing forward. You know, fearlessly being myself. You know.
Oh, yeah.
My parents for giving me lots of ways to live this life, to find my own cultures and tribes and do my thing. Because like my parents really have let me be me, which I don't think everyone gets that opportunity.
Mm.
You know, and then definitely my partner Kelly from Fuego Family Farms is instrumental to our journey and making sure that there is a Fuego Farms for us to rock. And Jacob with the Earth Rhythm too, like insurmountable amount of vision and creative clarity and fearless walking forward and walking the journey together to create something good is incredible. You know, feel really honored and blessed by like my Grateful Dead community and family that I've grown up in that just brought this young kid in. It's like you're right. You're in the right place at the right time. You're gonna learn this shit.
Oh, yeah, man.
And so that I could too be good family and help share and know that sharing is caring and we're all just here to vibrate together. You know? Definitely my close core of good friends that I go out dancing with all the time and like we share that common bond of spirituality and culture and medicine and plants is deep, you know. So without them, you know, I definitely wouldn't be able to see who I am. So thank you to all my friends and family, for sure. Hmm.
Hell yeah, man. That's sick. Yeah, that's deep connection, and you can tell like the love that's in your plant is going to be amazing because all the love that you have for everything else is just abounds, man. It just you can feel the vibration coming off you. You can see it, feel it.
And
That's
also,
why.
definitely formative for me is Robbie. Yeah, like Native
Oh,
Selections SC. That man
Rob.
is he's helped me learn how to be even more caring and sharing than I thought was possible, and how to live and let go, and how to just rock a good thing fearlessly, and wave your freak flag, whatever colors it is, like that man's incredible. I'm forever in his debt for just shining his light on me.
Hell
Help
yeah.
a good person, Yeah.
Dope, man. I love that. Shout out, Rob.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Anything else?
I really love the universe. I'm thankful to the universe. Thank you.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Say that
I would
every day.
also like to thank the universe for
Yep.
bringing everything and all the people in my life. Hell yeah. Thank you very much. Todd has been dope.
Yep.
There's so much more I want to talk about, but we'll have to do it at another time or another place.
Happy to join you again,
Hell
whenever,
yeah.
wherever, over a meal or not. For sure.
Oh yeah, we'll figure it out, dog. I'm definitely cooking for you guys at some point in time.
And we shall do the same for you.
You're gonna cook my brain. I could burn it down. So
the other people I gotta thank is the Hawaiian people.
Oh yeah,
my journey and my culture. Like,
man,
I
want to
really
go back.
love and thank them for accepting me on the Aina and teaching me things that I need to learn in my journey about that way of life and the plants and the communication and the journey that goes with that. Formative.
Man. Yeah, I really want to go back. I went to Maui one time and I could feel the vibe, but I was on R&R from the army, so I didn't from Iraq actually, so I didn't get to really get into any locals or anything like that. So, but
we're all one human people. It's important to learn all of our different parts of culture because it's there for us to learn. It's not differences to separate us. It's differences to bring us together.
Boom. And that's it right there. Hell yeah. All right. So I just want to big shout out to Liquid Karma, House of Utopia. Ate the gummies yesterday, the shroom gummies. They hit hard. The Viking shit.
Everything's breathing with me.
Yeah, the walls are breathing. But also Blazing Amazing. They sent me all sorts of stuff with Buddy, the pre-rolls, the Liquid Karma, the juice. Really, that shit slapped.
It juiced.
Yeah. I tripped and I drank 1,000 milligram live resin, and the shit was amazing. But thank you again, Todd.
You got to do your own R&D, brother. Keep doing it.
Yeah, man, I do. I R&D the out of my brain. What I like to say is I'm my own farmer, and I'm regrowing neural pathways.
We all are. We have the ability to regrow and retrain those for sure.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you very much, Todd. It's been a pleasure. We will do this again. Shout out to Brett, Rob, Burner, Jacob. Shout out Jacob. You all are great people. We love you. Santa Cruz, we love you. Tap in, smoke out, trip out. We'll see you later.
Yes, I. Have a blessed day.
You too. Always.
With love and compassion, we'll find our way. From the battlefield to a brighter day. With love and compassion, we'll find